Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chairman and CEO, Salesforce.com, Mark Benioff.
Good morning, everybody. Beautiful London day here. Glad to see the weather clear up. We do like to see some clouds in the sky usually, but not too many. And today's a beautiful day. We have a great program put together for you today, and that's why we're really delighted to have you here. We're coming off of a program in San Francisco called Dreamforce. We had almost 20,000 people there. And how many people were at Dreamforce who are in the audience today? You can raise your hands. So a few of you were at Dreamforce, mostly my executive team in the front row. They have nothing else to do, so they can follow us around. But we take our Dreamforce message on the road, and we'll do 36 of these Cloudforce 2 presentations now over the next year as we kind of go between Dreamforces. Dreamforce is our big conference in San Francisco. And the reason that we do this is because we like to take the message out on the road to kind of bring it to folks who cannot come to San Francisco for whatever reason, but also because we're so excited about our new message and because we're so excited about our new products and what we're doing with our customers, and because honestly a lot of the technology and things that we're going to be talking to you about today are new. You're going to see some new things, new code, new ideas, and things that we introduced at Dreamforce that are really breakthrough, and honestly we have to kind of explain it in person. And that's what we've really found is necessary to kind of make the market happen and kind of be able to deliver this kind of next generation experience for our customers. How many of you are existing Salesforce customers? Can you raise your hands? Very good. And how many of you are just considering Salesforce.com? All right, terrific. Well, we're really delighted about the event today and having you all here. And before I start, I want to start with our safe harbor statement. We are a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange. And this safe harbor statement is especially important today because we are going to be talking about a lot of new technology and a lot of new features and functions that are not yet available for our products and that actually may never be available in our products if we don't release them. And so we have to put this safe harbor statement up to educate you and to kind of anchor you in that reality of where we are today versus kind of where we are going in the future. So our mission at Salesforce is we are a cloud computing driver, evangelist. We're a catalyst. This is what we've been doing now for 11 years. We go on the road in programs very much like this one to explain our value proposition, to explain our message of how we're making technology lower cost and easier to use. All of us are very much riding a technology continuum. Technology itself, all types of technology, is getting lower cost and easier to use. Information technology, hardware, software, chips, the network, across the board, all technology is getting lower cost and easier to use. That is the technology continuum. We're all participating in the technology continuum. That is the fundamental catalyst or energy behind our industry. And we recognized that over 11 years ago, which is why we started Salesforce.com, that the technology continuum really was going to encourage a new type of enterprise software that we now can call cloud computing. And this idea that we could move off of the current generation of technology in terms of client-server computing and into the cloud was made possible by the technology continuum and the force and the power of that continuum. Now, when we started out, we really started out focusing on applications moving to the cloud. That's very much how a lot of people think about it: Salesforce automation, customer service and support, human resource technology, project management, product management, competitive analysis, websites, that fundamentally applications are moving to the cloud. And we've also now had a lot of different companies emerge in the cloud computing industry who offer applications. A lot of you use those apps. How many people are using an application in their business from the cloud today? So quite a few hands. That could be wide-ranging from our technology to Google Apps and so forth. Well, not only is applications is a huge category moving into the cloud where you just can consume and work with applications in a whole different way, but platforms themselves are moving to the cloud. And that's very exciting. And the exciting part about platforms moving to the cloud is that traditionally platforms, operating systems, databases, application servers, etc., moving to the cloud, well, that's a whole different thing. I mean, that's basically an idea that, the way that you're building these apps used to be very much stuff that you had to buy, procure, integrate. This is now moving into a cloud service as well. And not just from us, but from companies who are traditional platform providers like IBM or even Microsoft with Windows Azure or with Amazon Web Services. Even consumer platforms are emerging like Twitter or Facebook. How many people here use Facebook? Anybody here? Over 300 million people are on Facebook now, and it's probably the most popular consumer platform, and it's entirely cloud-based. Pretty amazing. So applications are moving to the cloud, platforms are moving to the cloud, and a major new area that's moving to the cloud that we're getting especially excited about is collaboration. Collaboration is moving to the cloud. As I mentioned, Facebook is a huge driver of that. Soon, there'll be 1 billion people on Facebook. Pretty awesome. Twitter, again, these are huge drivers of collaboration. And yet, we've also seen a lot of other new, exciting types of collaboration moving to the cloud, things like Cisco WebEx and Citrix and Lotus Live and this kind of thing. And the reason why is, well, it's the same thing, honestly, that's happened in terms of client-server technology and apps. That is kind of the old legacy stuff that's kind of holding us back. Things like Microsoft SharePoint or Lotus Notes. These older technologies, older group technologies, well, it's time for them to get refreshed and to kind of get a new birth. And we're going to see that over the next year to 2 years in terms of a whole new generation of capability of cloud computing now delivered as a service. And we're going to show you that as well. And that's very much what we're going to do today at today's conference. We're going to talk about applications moving to the cloud. We're going to talk about platforms moving to the cloud. And we're going to talk about collaboration moving to the cloud. And we're going to do all that in about 2 hours. Now, the cloud computing model is really all about multi-tenancy, like you saw in the video, multiple tenant systems like an office building or apartment building in multiple tenants, pay-as-you-go, elasticity, like you saw in the video, but really it's a lot about real time, the power of real time. We see that now in consumer services. When something is happening in the net, when something is happening in the world, you see it in real time. It's not a batch. It's not a delay. It's not something you're going to see in the next day. And that's how computing used to be. Computing used to have very much more of a delayed process. It was assumed that your information flow or the way your business was being managed was not real time. But the cloud computing shift is a shift also to real time. And we've seen this as a huge catalyst for our customers to be able to make decisions instantly. And not just that, we see it as a huge driver of speed because our customers are delivering applications 5 to 10 times faster than in these traditional models, and cost. That is about half the cost, or in many cases better than that. And many of the customers who are here in the audience can probably speak to these kinds of speed and cost ratios that are just different with cloud computing. Well, not only do we see that, but our company just has been a huge example of this. Well, we're now at a $1.3 billion revenue run rate. We're growing this year at 20%, while a lot of companies who are kind of in that previous paradigm are shrinking at 20% or more. And we've had very strong growth in new customers. In fact, we now have almost 70,000 customers worldwide, like the customers in this audience. So that's been very exciting. And here's another big number for us. We have more than 2 million paying subscribers of Salesforce.com. This doesn't include like portal users and website users and all this. These are our actual core subscribers of our service. This is a major number that we have measured over the years, and 2 million, it's a big number for us. And not just that, it's also exciting, the wide range of customers that we have. How many people here in the room have less than 100 employees in their company? Can you raise your hands? And how many have 100 to 1,000 employees? Can you raise your hands? And how many with more than 1,000 employees? The cool thing about that is it used to be, all you small companies, you go in the seminar over here, all you medium over here, and all you large over here. But the thing about cloud computing, it's a very democratic approach. Everybody can participate in these same shared multi-tenant systems. This is extremely powerful. It's this idea that the cloud can serve companies of any size. So when you take this new business model and you take this new technology model and you take this concept of democratization, well, that's a lot of innovation. That is the technology continuum moving forward that I was talking about. That is a whole new way to think about computing itself. And this is the recognition we've received for innovation in the cloud. We've won almost every major award in the industry for innovation. And not just innovation in technology, but also in philanthropy and philanthropic services. 1% of our equity, 1% of our profit, and 1% of our time is in a 501c3 public charity. And you can even read about this in our book that we gave you. There's a chapter called Force for Change in our previous book, The Business of Changing the World, all about philanthropy, compassionate capitalism, our first book on philanthropy and business. But the key thing about this is, again, this is another key innovative model. And I just want to recognize, if you're with a nonprofit or a 501c3, or if you're with a foundation and you're using our products as part of these free programs, would you just stand up and be recognized if you're here? We stand up and just, if you're using the nonprofit program, thank you very much. And the reason why I ask the nonprofits to stand up is because I always find around the world that the commercial customers have the most power and capability to be able to help these nonprofits become more successful, and that I really encourage the commercial customers to get involved with these nonprofits who are using the same technology that you're using, but you tend to have a lot more capability than they do, and you can really assist them. Now, what I'd like to do over the next 10 minutes is just talk about our core strategy at Salesforce. And from our core strategy, then what I want to do is kind of show you some of our new technology. And we'll just see how that takes us. But let's just start talking about that real-time cloud. You know, when we started Salesforce 11 years ago, it was really all about building core infrastructure as a service. Now, the idea that we could really build for our customers what they had mostly been building for themselves. That is, in the data center, the security, the reliability, the scalability, the speed. You know, a lot of customers, they want to know exactly what's happening in our service, so we have a website, trust.salesforce.com. You can see in real time how all of our systems are doing. Very exciting for our customers to be able to do that. We have a new capability that we're now rolling out worldwide in our new system, and many customers are on it. None of our applications are ever down for upgrading and updating for more than 5 minutes. We use our network of global data centers to always have one version of our product running, so our goal is for our customers never to be down, even during an upgrade, even during an update, even during a change. This is a core part of our infrastructure vision. Also, we have an application programming interface, and you probably know we do about 20 billion complex transactions for our customers a quarter, or 200 to 300 million transactions for our customers a day. About half of all of those transactions that we do for customers now are integration transactions. Other computers calling us for data. It could be SAP or Oracle or Microsoft or other types of software calling us for help or asking us to be able to support their systems. This exciting capability, this is now a core part of our infrastructure, as well as development sandbox, so that you can develop in a sandbox and then push out in real time. Or if you have multiple Salesforce instances, you can create secure private tunnels between those instances and push and pull data between those through a technology that we have called Salesforce to Salesforce. And we do that through a network of 3 global data centers, 2 in the United States, 1 in Singapore. And we're now working on our plans to actually have a local data center here in the UK and 1 in Japan. So it's very exciting for us in terms of the kind of directions that we're going as a company. We also have the ability, in terms of our development platform, to then build applications on top of this infrastructure. You can think about this as kind of the old traditional capability like Microsoft.NET or Microsoft Java, but instead of it being software, it's provided as a service. It's the ability to build any kind of a database, any tables, any fields, any kind of user interface, programmable cloud logic, so you can write stored procedures and triggers within the system. Real-time workflow and approvals. You can even build a website now in our system. If you want to build a website for the public, that you need to scale to multiple millions of users, or you were trying to build an intranet website, you can do that on our platform really with a few clicks. And major companies like Starbucks and others who have had to deploy mega websites instantly in a matter of a few days use us and our tools to do that kind of capability. The ability to kind of roll out that kind of website, because that is such a popular way to deploy an application today. Or when you've built an application using our platform, with only one click, it will run on any mobile device, an iPhone, a BlackBerry, a Windows CE device. You don't have to recode it for that platform. That's a very, very popular feature for our customers. Or integrated content library. All of the things that we're going to talk about today have content management built into them. So if you want to use content management, the ability to kind of store your content, save your content, have change management around your content, as well as the collaboration around your content, or kind of the Web 2.0 capabilities around ratings and feeds on content, all of that is available right inside the system. And analytics, deep analytics engines, so that all the applications and all of your capabilities are right inside an analytics framework, so you can have dashboards and reports, and all of that is built in. In fact, these things are not separate servers. In fact, everything that we're talking about is actually one integrated system. That's a subtle point. When you make a change, like on that first box on terms of the database and adding a new table or adding a new field, the analytics engine knows about that automatically. So when you go to write your report or go to publish your dashboard, you're going to see those fields and those tables there automatically. You don't have to recode those things or restart that server or something like that. This is one integrated system. All of these things know about each other. They're watching each other. When you make changes on one, all the other ones pay attention and they update each other all at the same time, because it's all based on one multi-tenant kernel, one shared infrastructure. And our new knowledge management system as well, so that if you want to be able to have knowledge management and store knowledge and be able to query knowledge and bring knowledge into all of your applications, whether it's a customer service app or a sales app or a custom application, knowledge management is new inside our core architecture. And all of these things are available, as well as 800 additional applications in appexchange.com with one-click integration. I was just with a customer a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about how they save millions of dollars of integration cost by just going to appexchange.com and finding an app that was already pre-integrated. And it wasn't even made by Salesforce, but the ISV that we work with, like many of the ones in the hall today, with one click, they were able to integrate right into the system. Pretty cool and pretty neat, kind of like Apple's App Store, but for enterprise applications, and extremely powerful for the enterprise market in terms of productivity and for speed of deployment. Very, very, very important. Now, this whole idea of infrastructure as a service, and then the layer above it, development platform as a service, they of course work hand in hand. But we've seen a huge change and a huge shift going on in our industry around collaboration. I've mentioned it a few times when we look at what's happening with Facebook and Twitter, and we're going to show you some exciting new demonstrations. But we believe the next generation of application development and deployment is not just about kind of the traditional infrastructure and development platform like you see here and all of this sophistication, but a whole new layer that we're going to be adding shortly onto our service. And that layer we call Chatter. And that's a platform for building collaboration into your applications. And it's deeply part of all of our core services. All Salesforce.com users get it as part of the upcoming version of Salesforce.com and Salesforce.com's apps. So we're adding then the ability to have profiles, like that kind of profile management that you see in Facebook with your picture and everything about you, but it's highly customizable. As you can see, it's part of the platform, and as I mentioned, all of those platform objects talk to each other. So your profiles can have, specifics about your company or your industry, or maybe you're building a specific custom application. You're going to see one later, a professional services application, where the profile can get modified to have skills-based information for the users, so that you can then query the profiles. Who's everyone is an expert in financial services? Who's an expert in Java programming? Who's an expert in cloud computing? Who's an expert in this customer? All of that could be part of the profile. status updates like you see on Facebook and Twitter. So, what am I working on, this kind of thing. An important part of any enterprise architecture today is status updates, because consumers are becoming so vested into that paradigm through these consumer services. We want to have it with the security, reliability, and availability of enterprise grade, so that you can bring that into your enterprise architecture as well. And additionally, groups, the ability to have groups of users be able to work inside the platform, competitive groups, product groups, feeds, like we've seen in these services, and we're going to demonstrate quite a bit of that. Social content, and we'll go into what that means, but the ability to have feeds on content, feeds on social applications, a new security and sharing model to take advantage of the complexity of these social systems and giving you the privacy controls and the security controls over the social paradigm, and an API into all of these things, and then deep integration with Google Wave, with Facebook and Twitter. So when you think about it, look, we're on a precipice of a whole new era of computing. We all know that. We all know that cloud computing is all the rage, that these are the fastest growing companies, the most exciting things, but we feel a tremendous obligation to be able to bring to you kind of the next generation constantly of applications and capabilities. We've talked a lot about our infrastructure as a service for the last decade. Over the last 5 years, we've been talking a lot about our platform and the ability for you to use the same tools we use to build our apps. Now we're introducing a whole new layer onto that architecture, which is the social layer, so that you can bring collaboration and social computing into your apps. And you're going to see that a little bit later with the real-time cloud. And on top of that, well, frankly, then we build some of the best apps in the world on top of it. And that's called the real-time cloud. The sales applications, the service apps, custom apps. Our customers have now built hundreds of thousands of these custom applications on top of this platform, and this great new chatter capability, which is kind of like this Facebook or Twitter for the enterprise, but built on this robust platform. This is our corporate strategy. This is our corporate mantra. This is our fundamental technology. This is what we do every day. This is what we run with the highest reliability and availability and scalability and security and privacy models in the world. This is what we do. And I want to start Cloudforce 2 by talking about this so that you can understand that this is a foundation that our customers can believe in and trust in and understand and build the next generation of their own enterprises on top of. Now, to kind of give you a demonstration of this, I want to talk to you about Service Cloud 2. Service Cloud 2 is one of those killer apps on top of that platform. Now, Salesforce, let me tell you already, is already a leader in service, customer portals, call centers, contact centers, all kinds of customer service information. We have 55% of this SaaS market or cloud computing market for customer service. We have 8,000 customers who are giving us tremendous feedback on the success of customer service apps in the market, and we're delivering a huge new level of product innovation. And the fundamental problem that we're solving for Service Cloud 2 is very, very, very simple. In the old market, in the old industry, before cloud computing and client server, really the primary thing in service, in customer service, was the call center, the contact center. That's really where the action was. And call centers and contact centers, very popular. Companies like Oracle, SAP, Amdocs, Siebel, Microsoft, all basically doing well in the call center, the contact center. But the reality is that, well, I'll give you an example. I just got one of these new BlackBerry Bold 2s, and I also have a Jawbone Bluetooth headset. You know what I mean? The thing you put in your ear. But I could not get the two things to talk to each other. Have you ever had that experience? And I just didn't know, how am I going to get my BlackBerry to talk to my Jawbone headset? So what did I do? Did I call BlackBerry? No. Did I call Jawbone? No. What did I do? I actually went to Google and I typed a search saying, well, I'm having trouble pairing these two things together, and I got some videos and I saw some information. I still wasn't completely sure. So I went to my Facebook page and I said, hey, I just bought a new BlackBerry 2, a Bold 2, and a Jawbone. Any of my friends, have you done this already? What should I do? I was reaching out through my social networks, through the internet for customer service and support. I didn't have time to call these people and talk to some call center in some, foreign land. my whole idea is that the people on the net and the people that I'm closest to should be able to give me the answers that I need. But that's just not the way customer service and support is set up today. And that's what we're trying to break through with Service Cloud 2. And we've delivered a radical new vision for customer service and support that we're going to show you regarding knowledge management, the call center, email coming into the system, chat, customer portals, community, partner management, the Google search integration like I just mentioned, Facebook and Twitter integration. Because let's face it, the way customers are doing customer service and support in the cloud is just different than it was before. And we have to change. We have to go forward. And a lot of our systems in our enterprises are broken. And even the applications that are working in the call center and contact center are broken. We may not even realize they're broken, but we're just not talking to the customers with the same level of fluidity that we had before. So I want to give you a demonstration of this technology. Please welcome to the stage Craig Swenson, who's my Senior VP of Product Marketing. Welcome, Craig.
All right, thank you very much. This is going to be really exciting. It's going to be fun today because we're actually going to show you a demo of Service Cloud 2. As Mark was mentioning, it's a customer service offering that's been designed for cloud computing. And what that means is that we bring these traditional channels of customer service, like the telephone and email, together with these new cloud-based channels of service, like Google, online websites, Facebook and Twitter, social websites, and that's what we'll show you. So let's go ahead and bring up the demo. And what you're going to see here on the screen is we're going to do an example today of what's possible for a company like Dell. So in this demo example, obviously Dell sells consumer products and business products. It's really possible for really any company. And when the service agent logs into Service Cloud 2, the tabs across the top of the screen represent the various functions of customer service, the interaction channels like the phone, email, chat, and even Twitter and Facebook that we're going to show you here in just a second. But first, let's take the example of an inbound call. What happens when a telephone call comes into the call center at Dell? Well, of course, the service agent gets a screen pop because we're integrated to the telephony, so they know immediately who they're talking to, where they're located, and because this is one integrated CRM application, of course, they can see all the products, the sales history, all the cases, everything right here on the screen. And so today, we're listening to, in this case, Carol's question, and today Carol is asking, how do I upgrade the memory on my Dell XPS laptop? So the service agent starts creating a new case. And now, in order to solve this case, to find the relevant knowledge article to disseminate back to Carol, historically, this service agent would actually have to go into a separate software application, a totally separate system that wasn't integrated with the workflow and the business process. But with Service Cloud 2, no longer do you need to do that, because the knowledge base, as Mark was mentioning, is integrated right into the platform. So the agent just clicks this button that says Search Articles, and we're brought right over to the knowledge base. We pop to the Articles tab, and immediately the system starts recommending knowledge. What is the most relevant piece of information based upon this customer, their products, the type of case? You can see the analytics in the bottom right-hand portion of the screen. We can even filter down and say, just show me the consumer products, just show me the laptops. And when we think we actually have the right answer, we can actually drill into it and confirm it and take a look. So in this case, there's a couple things that you're going to want to notice. Number one is that these knowledge articles can contain anything you want, images, HTML, even embedded video today. And they can be structured to match your business or any business. So in the case of Dell here, you can see on the screen, they've included product detail, description, step-by-step procedures, and because they're a high-tech company, we've got this compatibility information as well. And when we know we have the right article, all we have to do is with one click, attach this article back to the case, and now we deliver it back to the customer over the telephone, or we can just email it to the customer, as you can see right here, and they can print this out and follow the step-by-step procedures. This is what happens when everything is integrated into one centralized system, is that you have one business process that you can follow. Now, that exact same technology is not only available to the customer service agent, but it's also available in the self-service portal, because of course, more and more today, we actually just want to do it ourselves. So what happens when a customer just goes to the support website and logs into the portal? What do they see? Well, of course, as you might imagine, of course, they can manage their account. They can get these marketing offers that Dell wants to present. They can log cases. They can create ideas, download brochures, and everything that comes from Dell. But also now with Service Cloud 2, they can actually browse the knowledge base in a self-service fashion. So the same technology that the service agent had access to, the customer now has access to directly. And they can find the exact same knowledge articles for these common questions like how to upgrade the memory on the laptop right here in the portal. But Mark just gave an example, and it's very true. You all know this. Think about the last time that you had a question about a product. The first place we all go is here, to Google. Because Google has trained us that it will actually guide us to the answer. So what happens now in today's world when somebody just Googles, how do I upgrade the memory on the XPS laptop? Because Service Cloud 2 is running on a cloud computing platform, you can actually take one article, a subset of the knowledge base, or all of the knowledge base, and expose it on your public website, which means for the first time it actually can be found by internet search engines. It's not locked behind the four walls of the business that only an agent with certain credentials can actually access. Now you can make it public. You can make it available to Google so people who are searching on Google can actually find your knowledge articles. And again, as I mentioned, it's either this article, a subset, or your entire knowledge base. Anything that you want, you can make it available right here on your public website, powered by Force.com. But what happens when you want to customize this, right? Because this is a pretty intricate system. Well, customizing the Service Cloud is exactly the same as customizing the Sales Cloud. So for those of you who are customers in the room, you're actually going to recognize this. If you want to change the system, you just use your browser. You go into the setup area, and let's take the example of Dell. Dell's introducing new products all the time. In fact, Dell recently introduced a whole new product line, these netbook mini computers. And so what happens when they want to actually add that new category of mini computers to their knowledge base and then associate new knowledge articles to those mini computers? Well, right here inside of the browser, you can just customize and configure the system. You actually don't have to log tickets. An administrator of the application can do this. And of course, right when we do this and we say publish and save, that information is actually reflected in real time throughout the entire system. So let's do it. Let's save and publish this. And what you'll notice if we flip back over to the website, if we refresh the website, that new category of netbook computers that we just configured, it's right there. It's on the website. And we didn't actually have to log trouble tickets. We didn't have to configure software. We didn't have to batch update or move any configuration files to a website. All we had to do was configure the Service Cloud, and immediately in real time, it's reflected. That's really the power of cloud computing. But the reality is that example that I just gave you, it's a very common question. How do I upgrade the memory on my laptop? So how many times a day do you think Dell answers that question through one of its channels? Probably thousands. But what about all these obscure questions? The harder questions, we've seen these, and go ahead and bring up the slide, thanks. You've probably experienced this yourself where you call into a call center, you go to a website, and you ask a question, and the answer doesn't exist in the knowledge base. We call this the long tail of knowledge because it actually escapes the knowledge base of most companies. But again, in attempting to solve this problem, at Salesforce.com, we look out to the consumer internet because there are already sites that have done this. Yahoo Answers, LinkedIn Answers, and even more. These sites with millions of daily visitors, they've actually invented a paradigm where somebody can actually throw a question up, and then other people across the internet attempt to answer this question. And people vote it up and vote it down and rate it and rank it. And ultimately, the best answer is found not by one person who was an expert who worked for the company, but by you all, by us, by the internet at large. The entire community, we call it crowdsourcing. Crowdsource this answer, this knowledge. But what happens if now you want to do that for your company? What if you want to crowdsource knowledge on your own website? Well, with Service Cloud 2, we've also just baked that capability in. A new application called Salesforce Answers that you actually can set up inside your customer portal on your own website, and we're shipping this application as a Facebook application. So you can take advantage of more than 350 million users that now are living on Facebook. So let's show that to you right now. Let's go ahead and bring up Facebook. And here we're looking at a gentleman named Tom Davis, a Facebook user. And when he had a question about his Dell netbook, he didn't pick up the telephone or go to the portal. He's already on Facebook. So what did he do? He navigated to Dell's homepage or the fan page on Facebook. And this is a demo example we're showing you today. And you can see across the top of the screen that Dell has, in this case, the standard Facebook tabs, the wall and the info, but they also have Salesforce Answers. They have Service Cloud 2 plugged right into Facebook. And when we drill into this, we can see all the questions that are being asked in the community right now. And here is an example of Tom's question. Tom was asking, how do I actually output video from my new Dell netbook to my high-def TV? And already there in the screen, you can see other members of the Facebook community just dogpiling on this question, attempting to answer it. And you can see that Dan says, well, you could use this VGA connection. And then right below him, another Facebook user named Steven says, well, you could do that, but you could also use this HDMI cable, and that'll actually give you a better picture. And it's these types of questions that are really best answered by the community. And people vote, and you can see that here on the screen. A full 6 times more people have voted up Steven's answer as the correct answer over Dan's. And so as a user, as Tom, we try this and it works. Let's go ahead and vote this up the 89th time. Of course, on Facebook, it's called liking it. And not only is this represented on Facebook, but this is actually, all the data is stored in the Service Cloud. So let's have a look. If we bring back up the Service Cloud, we can see this tab called Facebook Answers. And this is going to be made available early next year to our Service Cloud customers. And when we drill into Tom's question, you can see that right here on the screen. The same data that was showing up in Facebook is actually running in the Service Cloud. And now the power here is not that this information you can see as a service agent. The power here is that as a service agent, we could actually take this knowledge that was just crowdsourced and with one click, populate the knowledge base. And now that has been done. You see it right there at the bottom of the screen. A new knowledge article has been created from that knowledge that was crowdsourced on Facebook. It's now in the knowledge base, which means it's accessible in real time to our service agents over the telephone, to the customer portal, out to our public website, accessible to Google, and the 350 million people on Facebook. So that application was fun to build. Like that's an amazing application, thinking of being able to crowdsource knowledge from the 350 million people on Facebook. But the hottest area of customer service this year truly has been a new social website that has really emerged onto the scene called Twitter. And the amazing thing about Twitter is that people are out there on the public internet having conversations about you and your products and your services. And if you haven't done this already, I encourage you to go to the Twitter website, search for your company name or your product, and see what people are saying about you on the public internet in real time. So customers have been asking us, how do I tap into this? How do I really bring Twitter into the Service Cloud? And that's what we've done with Service Cloud 2. We've created a technology called Salesforce for Twitter. So here what we're looking at on the screen is a Twitter user named Dan Buckley. And now when Dan has a question about his Dell products, he says, how do I hook up my netbook to my high-def TV? With Salesforce for Twitter, every company, including yours right now, can actually create a dedicated Twitter channel for customer service. And now, in this case, Dan says, I want to ask it directly to Dell. And this is made available in real time on the public internet right now to everybody following Dan, but it's also been auto-routed through the workflow right into Dell's customer service center. Let's go ahead and bring that up so you can see what that looks like back at Dell. So what you can see right here, up here on the screen on the Twitter Conversations tab are all the conversations that Dell is monitoring right now out in the Service Cloud on Twitter. And of course, because of the workflow and business process, we could just route this question to an agent who can actually answer it. So let's filter this down to just the conversations on the netbooks. And right there at the top of the screen, you can actually see Dan's question. How do I hook up my netbook to my high-def TV? A case has automatically been created, so we can drill into this case. And of course, just like we showed earlier on in the demo, the service agent who's working this case can now just reach into the knowledge base and find the answer. And of course, as you'll recognize, because this was the same question, the same knowledge that we just crowdsourced out on Facebook, right there in the knowledge base, in real time is the answer. And with one click, we can attach it back to the case and disseminate it back out to Dan on Twitter. But how do we do that? Because we don't have Dan's email address and we don't have his phone number. So how do we actually get the information back out to Twitter? With Salesforce for Twitter, it's completely integrated. We can select a knowledge article and actually tweet right from the Salesforce user interface. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's send a tweet back to Dan. The application automatically creates this short form Twitter post, which we could customize right here if we wanted to. And as soon as we say send, in real time, as fast as the information can go from the Service Cloud to Twitter, you can see the entire conversation logged right here in the application. And now let's bring back up Twitter. Let's bring back up Dan's homepage. And what we can see, the next time Dan logs on and refreshes his screen, there in fact at the top of the screen is the answer. It was tweeted back to Dan in real time from Dell, from the knowledge base. So you can really, really see how all these technologies are intertwining. The call center, the telephone support agent, the customer portal delivering self-service knowledge, exposing information out on the public support website, so that it can be found by Google and other search engines. Crowdsourcing knowledge, not only on our own websites, but on Facebook, where there's now 350 million members, and now taking advantage of the hottest area of customer service this year, which is, of course, Twitter. This is really the next generation of customer service, and we call it Service Cloud 2. I'll hand it back over to Mark now. Thanks.
Thanks, Craig. Thank you. Dan, come back up here, would you? How many people here are interested in that kind of technology today, customer service solutions and all that thing? And the thing we didn't demo, would you just bring up Dan's computer again on the screen? If you could bring up Dan's computer. And Dan, there's a lot of people here how many people here have companies who are operating in languages more than English? Raise your hand. So we just go to Edit, Setup. Yeah. And you can now take this in any language that you have. We'll just take Japanese because it's the most difficult. But any European or whatever language, you can hit save, change the locale, whatever. The whole system, the whole demo, everything you just saw, all the help, everything just went into Japanese with one click. And that's really the power of multi-tenant shared systems that, it's all one system. So in the way when like Craig is saying, oh, now I have netbooks, and now I have netbooks, so I now modify this. It's in my website. It's in my core. It's everywhere. It's even on my Japanese website. It's across the board. Okay, you can change it back to English. And we'll go back to the slides. So that's Service Cloud 2, and we've had a lot of success with this. We've had Procter & Gamble's global call center, 1,100 agents, 28 countries, very fast deployment, 8 months, very great speed and agility. Here in Europe, Orange, 40,000 agents, 170 million customers in Service Cloud 2. We wanted to bring up a European customer to kind of talk about this, and we have a great company here. We've got Frank Rejwan is the CEO of Europe for Quintessentially. So please welcome him to the stage. Frank, come on up here. Welcome, Frank.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming up on stage with us, and we really appreciate it. And I guess we've put together a slide here with some of the stats of some of the things you're doing. You're obviously the luxury concierge service. I think a lot of people here in the audience know about you, but can you tell us a little bit more about your company?
Yeah, sure. We're Quintessentially is the world's leading luxury lifestyle group. We have various sister businesses, from Quintessentially Flowers to Driven for cars to events, but the core business is our global 24-hour concierge service.
And what does a customer get from using your company? What's the benefit?
The benefit is time saving, accessibility, money saving, and benefits. It's a private members global club.
Why is a product like Service Cloud 2 important to your company?
Well, being a concierge service is all we do. It's what we live and breathe day to day. So clearly, everything we do is about excellence in service, and hence it's pretty cool.
Can you tell us a little about what you've done with Service Cloud 2?
Yeah, I've got more grey hair than I did a while ago. We went live about 5 weeks ago. We were on Siebel, your old friends, and
I'm not familiar with it.
No, I'll tell you about it sometime. And we'd been on Siebel for about 7 years on a hosted platform, and we were looking into. We reached a point where we needed to either invest heavily into Siebel or look at alternatives, which we did, and we chose you guys.
That's great. And how many users and this kind of thing do you have up and running?
Well, Quintessentially has 45 offices around the world, so it was quite a significant implementation geographically. We rolled out to 450 users.
Well, what are some of the features that you've seen here today or that you're using that are most important to you at the company?
We obviously cases or requests, as we call them for our members, is the sort of core of it. And really, one of the significant parts and reasons we did this was the whole knowledge base, although it's your original solutions base that we've put in, as well as our whole suppliers database. We have over 38,000 suppliers with whom we have benefits. So it means we can, when we're trying to resolve a case, as Quintessentially, that we don't tend to have many repeat things. We have all sorts of extraordinary requests. So the whole solutions base and the ability to look back at actually 8 years worth of historic requests that we've answered before is really powerful.
Well, there's a lot of people here in the audience who are trying to move from these old customer service systems like this Siebel that you speak of and others. Would you be able to talk to them if they stick around and talk to you about how you did it and maybe give them some tips?
Yeah, sure. I think there's a breakout session later.
Oh, great.
And,
Fantastic.
I've been cajoled into
Great.
helping with this. Yeah.
Thanks very much for being
Sure.
here.
Pleasure.
Thank you.